Come with us now, if you dare, down a rickety staircase into a dank, dark basement. What awaits? The Saturday Night Freak Show.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast, the movie review and talk show podcast that comes your way every Saturday, whether you're ready for it or not. In our quest for total world domination, these are the Internet Radio Superstars.
Michaela.
Sean.
Holly.
And I'm Colin. And tonight we watched a movie that was chosen by
Holly.
Me.
Where did we venture to tonight?
Tonight we ventured to the Lair of the White Worm.
a much requested
Metaphor?
title.
But really?
Yeah,
Well,
it's been in Listeners Request Month many times.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
many
All right,
times.
there we go, there we go.
Yeah, and it's been on my list for
Nice.
years.
Yeah, we've talked about
It's been on my list probably since like the year I started.
Yeah.
Like, it's been on there forever.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
checking one off.
We're checking
yeah.
it off. It
I
had
knew
to come.
nothing about this movie.
Which is good.
That's very good.
It's good to go into this one blind.
I knew that.
Yeah.
That what's his name? Hugh
Grant,
Hugh
yeah.
Grant. I almost said Hugh Hefner. Hugh Grant.
I would not bring Hugh Hefner
No.
movie.
All I knew was Hugh Grant was in this movie.
I know. Yeah, I have seen this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
How?
I was
Why? What? At what point in your life were you like, I want to watch this?
because it's Lair of the White Worm.
All right. Well, I wonder if it's recently, since like I always wonder like what do you venture towards since you started the show versus what were you getting into before you got here?
Right.
No, this was
It all depends on your answer. It's
Sure.
how I think of you.
no. Me discovering this was post.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
after I was already a part of the Freak Show,
Makes
I watched this, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is coming to the show.
The White
There's
Worm is
a
coming.
reason people keep requesting it.
From the year.
Oh, 1988.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Directed by.
Directed by Ken Russell.
All right. Ken Russell. I know this name.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not
Ken
conjuring up anything.
Russell he has
Was.
passed.
Okay.
May he rest.
That means you can talk shit about him, Sean.
Okay.
He can't come and get
Yeah.
He was a big British director. If you couldn't tell, he did a lot of British TV movies. Like most of his filmography, I'd never heard of. The only two that I'm familiar with is Tommy, The Who.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
He directed Tommy,
Okay.
which
Yep.
makes sense, right? And then Gothic. He directed Gothic,
Yeah.
which I've
right before this one, right?
yes, like 2 years before this.
Yeah. So I've actually seen like a bunch of Ken Russell movies, like
I'm
accidentally,
sure
like not by hunting them down or anything, but the one that I'm actually surprised. I think maybe his most famous would be Altered States with William Hurt, right?
Oh,
before
yeah,
the sensory
that's right.
deprivation
Yeah, that one I know.
because that was like a major
Yeah.
theatrical Hollywood film.
Right.
He got famous for a movie called Women in Love, which I haven't seen, but Oliver Reed. And then the one, and this has been on my list, but I don't know if I'll ever bring it, but The Devils.
The Devils. Yeah.
Which I have seen, which this is, okay, so the Devils was so blasphemous, I guess. That
Yeah.
the Catholic
According
Church,
to who?
Catholics.
Catholics.
It was
Well, then
made
you
by
bring
Warner Brothers, and I mean, I think it's a good movie. It's him and Vanessa Redgrave,
Yeah.
and
It got him like banned from British TV movies.
yeah. I mean,
He was a big TV director, like huge, and he was like, they were like, no, we're done with you because it was
Okay.
that.
So they let him make it. They broadcast it on TV and then they banned
No, it
it.
was a theatrical film.
Warner
theatrical.
Brothers. It was
Oh,
Warner
okay, it was
Brothers.
Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
but they
was gonna
forced
say.
him to cut it like significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see it, it's excessive. So it's like, okay, they had to, they obviously had to cut that.
I have not seen that one, but I've seen clips of it,
Okay.
Okay.
and
I've
it's
heard of the
intense.
But it's weird. Like trying to track that movie down became like one of those like white whale kind of situations.
A white
and
worm.
I
White
found
worm.
it because it was on VHS. Eventually, I found it, and then Shudder like put the uncut version on
God
for
bless
like
Shudder.
a month, and then they pulled it. Now you can't find it again. I think
Aw,
right
man.
as of right
Yeah,
now.
that was one of those things. Like, put it on there until someone notices. And
Right.
We'll pull it.
Yeah.
That's how we're all going to see the day the clown cried. That's how it's going to happen. Someday you're going to be on like some like super third tier streaming service, like I don't know, fucking Pluto or Tubi.
Yeah, and they'll have it
and it'll
all of a
be
sudden.
it'll be the day the clown cried is finally up.
Didn't we like find it or didn't we?
No, he's dead. Which the rule was. What, 5 years after he died, it would be released? And
Right,
it's
there
been
was
Jerry-
that long.
Jerry
There was
Lewis
something
movie,
that
yeah.
they were gonna release it or something.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
gone
They
past all
should.
those dates,
Okay.
and
And
we
then
should
they
have access
pulled
to it.
Like that Prince documentary. It's like
Yeah.
we'll never see the thing.
Never.
He also did. I haven't seen the movie, but I've always been curious. It's called Crimes of Passion.
Yeah.
With Kathleen Turner and Anthony Perkins, and I've always kind of
Sounds
wanted to see
creepy.
that. Well, she's like a prostitute, and I think he's a serial killer. I think
Sounds creepy.
I'm not.
I was going to say that it feels like I need to see those two go against each other
Yeah.
because they're
Because you'd never
they're
imagine
baddies.
them
Yeah,
meet.
right. But yet they're both like evenly matched. I feel
Wait
like.
a second. Did Ken Russell did he do horror?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I saw that when I was
one, too.
scrolling, and I was like NC-17, and it's
Yeah.
That
called
was
horror.
the
Yeah.
Teresa Russell movie. I remember.
So Ken Russell's going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
what he's
he-
doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The
This is
like
not a
the
one-off.
like dream sequences that we get in this. That's classic Ken.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Classic
Okay.
Ken. Yeah.
Always kind of that
The ones that feel
hallucinogenic.
like 80s music videos.
Yeah.
But like
But
NC-17.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
classic Ken.
Because Gothic was the that was like the retelling of how the Frankenstein, the Mary Shelley, Lord Byron, they were all off on a and came up with Frankenstein. But that was full of like flights of fancy and stuff like that, weird hallucinations. So he's a provocateur. Ken
Yeah. I
Russell.
want to dive in further to Ken because this and Tommy are the only ones I've seen.
Oh, you got to see all the ones. I think. Yeah,
I
the
know.
Devil, you have to see the devil.
I know, like I've seen like clips and like stills from them, and I'm just like, ooh, I really need to dive further into Ken Russell.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
Altered States being one of those movies, like when you first start discovering like movie taste in college. I remember Altered States being one of those, like, yeah, you got to see
Yeah.
this one. This, you know.
Because it was like it was because it came from the era of like transformation
Yes.
effects. Because there's like the air bladder effects.
Holly, I imagine you watching more of these movies and entering your Ken Russell area in your art.
I think it's going to happen
Okay.
very soon.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that for you.
No, like I felt something blooming tonight.
Is Tommy also hallucinogenic or psychedelic? I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Tommy. I need to see Tommy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's in a different way, but yes,
Okay.
it's like an acid trip, but like a concert.
Yeah.
Because it's Tommy. It's the Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to sit on my couch and do acid and just watch that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
that, and then Pink Floyd, The Wall came after
Right,
that,
yeah.
right? It was like the fact that Tommy became like a big,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I watched both of them in my 20s. I watched Tommy and The Wall like around the same time. It's a phase.
So you probably also tuned into this movie because it was based on a novel by who?
Bram Stoker.
Get Out.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Indeed.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what are the differences?
But have you read it?
I have not read it. From my understanding, it's kind of a boring story.
Okay.
Like, there's a reason Dracula's his masterpiece.
Yeah.
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 He did like Jewel of the Seven Stars was
Yeah.
another one, and there's like mummy, a lot of some mummy
You think
stories.
Ken Russell maybe took some liberties while making this movie?
Well, he was
yeah.
gonna make Dracula. I remember.
Yes, he wrote a Dracula script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy Dracula?
Yes.
More sexy Dracula?
I was like-
more sexy
Yeah.
Dracula.
It's
like, it's
Sorry,
Dracula.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, we never got to see that one, but I remember because when this movie came out, I remember I was reading Fangoria at the time, and yeah, he had said in that article like, "Well, I came up with, but it never got made."
Right,
He
I
was
think-
hoping for a new Dracula movie,
Yeah.
and then Francis Ford Coppola ended up doing one.
And he's like, oh, well, I guess I could do some stuff with the white worm. Yeah.
Wink,
Essentially he took the core storyline of Bram Stoker's Lair of the White Worm
Okay,
and then just took many liberties.
yeah, I
with it.
assume, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was
characters.
Yeah, it was
So what's our basic story that would have been in that book? It's just not as sexy, not as extreme, not as like is there a snake woman in the book?
No.
So what's the book?
That's why there's a joke in this movie that says you weren't in the book. And she's like, you mean the phone book? It was a joke because she's not in the actual book. Yeah, it's a great joke. No, there's not a snake woman. It's very well, first of all, it takes place in the 1900, not
Oh.
like, yeah.
So early time shift earlier on.
Yeah, because it takes
okay.
place like when Bram Stoker was
Right,
around.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I forget when Bram Stoker lived.
Like Dracula was published 1897.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So this would have been like 1900-ish.
Gotcha.
So it would have been back then. And Ken Russell wanted to make this a modern movie.
Sure. Yeah.
That was one of his changes. And then he did add some characters. Some of the characters remain the same. Like Hugh Grant's character is the primary character in the book.
Okay.
The story of the White Worm is still very similar.
Right. But there's no no digging up things that were from the past. We're more living through it at the time of the book. Like,
kind of. I mean, they do unearth some like artifacts that bring up like the folklore, but the folklore is true to the area.
Mhm.
It's based on the Lambton worm, which is an actual like folk story in the area.
But like in the movie, are we talking like dragons? Like, is it, it's like, because the movie, there's a central, I guess, ancient, the folklore in the movie involves like a guy who slew a dragon, but they called it a worm. And then, we have to have Hugh Grant explain
the German the firm and all that.
It's a dragon.
They all kind of mean the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's essentially like the folklore is basically word for word the same.
Okay, so
They're
he
like-
grafted like the regional folklore onto the novel, and that's how he
Yeah.
got his plot.
Correct.
Which we don't
Okay.
get enough like Anglo-Saxon folklore movies. I feel
They
like
used to make them all because this is like British folklore horror movie. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm sitting there going, like, do they all begin with somebody digging up some thing?
Yeah.
Because like Blood on Satan's Claw
Yeah,
is probably like one of the great British folklore. But even Rawhead
that
Rex
is, like,
we watched
yeah.
starts with them digging something up.
But even that still is like post like Christian invasion of the British Isles. I'm talking about even like predating that, like the tribal kind of like folklore that England and Ireland had before Christianity spread throughout the like
fairies and stuff.
I mean, it's just crazy to me thinking about the fact that like even England has snakes and Ireland doesn't. That's crazy. They're so close together, but they're so different, like ecologically, and just they look up like English folklore and Irish folklore. They have tons of crazy monsters. Like, why have we not had a scary Kelpie movie about a horse that can like come out of the water and eat you and then drag you back into the water and drown you?
Like, I'm here
I
for
like
it.
this.
I'm here
Because
for it.
I have
They have
no
so much
sense of
cool
any of
shit.
this.
Yes,
So
they
much.
have so much that never gets tapped into.
And that's
Never.
what Bram Stoker, his story was more about a snake worshipping cult.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what his story is about, which sounds cooler than I think it was.
Right.
Like, I don't think it was all that entertaining. But when Ken Russell made it, he took the like feeding a human to the god and like have an evil priestess. Like that's what
He's like, "Oh, I like this."
Yeah, that was his interpretation.
He's like,
Right.
"Oh, I can make this sexy."
He was like, I like the cult thing, but I think we can do more with it. I think we can make it sexier.
Well, some of it, it's like as I was sitting there watching it tonight, I'm like, knowing that Lady Marsh wasn't part of it, it's like, okay, you're going to do a story by Bram Stoker. So it's a Dracula type character. There's implications of vampirism.
Right.
She rises from. It's not a coffin.
bites on the
I mean,
neck, but
he.
Well, like I said,
interprets
he lost it on Dracula, and he's like, "I'm fucking making Dracula."
It's because he couldn't do Dracula,
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
was like, "All right, fine, I'm gonna make Snake Dracula."
Right.
Yeah, Snake Dracula.
Yeah.
Copyright 2025 Saturday Night Freak Show Snake Dracula.
There's an
Coming soon.
Indonesian movie. I've always wanted the Snake Woman. I've always wanted to
Nice.
see it, but never got around to it. Oh,
This is a Snake Woman in an Eddie Murphy movie, the Golden Child, the Golden.
Oh, yeah.
Snake
That's
Woman,
right,
that one,
yeah.
I'm kind of surprised as a society we don't have more snake-driven horror movies, just considering how many people are afraid of them. Like, it is such
Hey,
a
you
common
just wait.
thing.
The Jack Black Paul Rudd Anaconda is coming soon.
That's not going to be. That's going to be a comedy, and
It's
you know
not
it.
going to be. It's not going to. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It's going to be like Jungle Cruise, but maybe R-rated. Like, it's going to be terrible. Like, it's going to be bad,
If
and
Paul
not
Rudd
in a
gets
fun
eaten
way.
by a giant snake, I'll be happy.
But the problem is that first Anaconda movie was made in earnest.
Yeah.
And this one is not.
And
so
it's
it's
not.
not
There's
going to
a-
be
very
the
true.
same.
well, you
Very true.
can see there's a remake, and it's Asian, but I'm
Yeah,
not
there
sure
is.
which country made it. But there is like a
Yeah.
remake of Anaconda.
There is.
But talking about like we don't get creature movies. Has anyone seen the Paul Rudd unicorn movie?
No, I fucking wanted to see
I
it.
want to watch
It
that.
looks good.
Yeah, it
But
looks
once again,
funny.
that's a comedy.
It's a
like,
comedy,
You know,
yeah.
we
True, and
we
Will
just make
Poulter
them
and-
serious
yeah.
and sincere.
Well,
make 'em
wait
real.
a
Although this movie we watched tonight is a comedy.
That's what I was going to
Was
ask.
it intended to
Yes,
be
it
that?
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
was it?
what
Okay.
was your impression watching it though? Because, like, when I first saw it back when it came out, and I guess what I wanted, Bram Stoker, Dracula horror
Yeah.
movie, Snake, and I watched this movie, and my initial impression was like, "What the hell?" Like, what are you doing? What's going on? So when you're watching it, like, because it's a black comedy, right?
Mhm.
Did it come across that way? You're saying
Yeah,
you didn't feel like it was intentional.
I
I
didn't
felt
feel
like-
like it was always intentional. No. Sometimes, yeah, but not always.
I felt like they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
There's
Even if that some moments like you were talking about came later in the edit, you're just like, okay, this can be really funny if we do.
or like an ad. Some of it comes up. There's a scene where
come on, she's holding the skull over
yeah,
the tub, and
she's like, it
damn.
will be sacrificed to blah blah blah. Then the phone
It
rings.
reminded
and
me
she's
a little
like,
bit.
Shit.
I don't know why this just came to me. Like Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
That's
very
what it
much.
reminded me of.
For
where
sure.
It's just like there's some weird shit, but it's just like this is very funny.
Yeah.
Considering what's going on.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely intended to be a comedy. Now that doesn't mean that they didn't go for it with a lot of it and make it serious
Right. And there's some
in,
moments of
in the
just,
event
like,
to be funny.
that
Yeah.
really that it scared me. Like got me. Like some of the
There's a couple jump scares.
It's
Where
like,
you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting like a
just because
vampire face.
Just
Yeah.
because those fangs are
Oh, yeah, they're like
really
snake
good.
teeth. They're very long. Like the actors can't close their mouths. They're so long.
Or they had to design them in such a way that they curved so much that when they closed their mouth, they went up into the mouth so they could close them.
Yeah.
But it's a very cool design.
And like the first one that we see, you're not expecting it.
No.
When she turns
Comes out of nowhere. You're like,
she
what the
turns and
fuck?
hisses and shoots the venom.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fuck
oh shit. It's great.
It's good.
So who's in this movie?
Right. So who's in this movie?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant is in this movie.
Is in this
Lord James Jampton.
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
a doctor.
I remember he played the WHO doctor in World War Z.
Oh,
did he?
hilarious. Hilarious. So funny. I think you're the only person who's watched that, Colin.
What was he? Not a bad movie. I can't understand.
I don't
why,
believe
I
you.
can't understand why David Fincher would ever want to make a sequel to it, as was the rumor a couple of years ago.
No, it was a fine movie, but it was funny. He had been cast as Doctor Who, I think, while they
Yeah.
were making
Oh,
that
did they?
movie,
Yeah.
so
They
they called him
named-
WHO Doctor.
Yeah.
That's funny.
For the World Health
Famously the 12th
Organization.
Doctor.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
But this is just weird seeing him so
He's
young
very
and with
young.
her, you know.
Right.
like,
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not used to seeing him like this.
I know,
I
'cause
know.
So very young.
I've seen this movie before and didn't place that it was him, so now it's like, oh, it's Peter Capaldi.
Right.
Very serious eyebrows, but
Yeah.
it's obscured by his very curly hair and his glasses in
That
this. so it
great
doesn't come
British
through.
mop hair.
He
I
really,
love it.
really
Yeah.
does. It's just like wow.
It's great.
Wait, so who's he playing in the? I guess, and who are these people playing?
All right, so Peter Capaldi is Angus Flint,
Yeah.
who is
Great name.
I know, right? It's a great name.
Angus Flint.
He is a Scottish fellow who is in town to excavate the area. He's an archaeologist.
Is he the only Scottish fellow? Is this why they keep bringing it up and making fun of it?
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's-
Is that why?
Well, yeah, it's an English town. And
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a Scotch.
It's a
like
small
Scot.
it's a small town, and
Yeah.
he's like the Scot in town.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hugh Grant is like the Lord of the Manor. Like
Yes.
he's just assumed the title.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's a young guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he,
His
he was
inheritance, as it
he was
were.
the heir, and now he
Yes.
has taken over the estate.
And
Yes.
it's his grandfather. Way back, right?
Some family, yeah.
An heir or ancestor is said to Lord
killed-
John or something like that. Is said
Yeah.
to have killed this snake.
Yeah.
A giant snake
Right.
in the countryside,
And
like
there's a celebration
in
that's
the
put
Middle
on
Ages.
every year to celebrate this, and it is that night is his first one. He's in charge of this first celebration of
Yeah.
the killing of the white
He's
worm.
like, I wanted to go all out, which hell yeah.
he
did.
brings
He
the
fucking did
town together and they throw a party.
There's a jug band.
Dude, this party is
There's a
awesome.
fucking Chinese dragon that
Yeah.
they repurposed for a white worm. It's
that
pretty
was
great.
cool. I'm like,
great.
if you're gonna throw a party, right?
Yeah.
Like, bring in the big giant.
Yeah, it's like Guar. I wanted that thing to start fucking
Yeah.
eating people and them disappearing.
And
But
he
he-
has a ceremonial, like, cut it in half.
He does.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But he really dropped the ball on the food at this party.
It's worm themed food, and not in a good way.
It's so
Everything is wet.
Yeah, it's like there's like
slimy.
there's
Everything is
tentacles,
slimy.
right? It's like
Tentacles.
squid tentacles
Just-
Yes.
hanging over
Like
the bowls.
wet ones, not like
No.
calamari, just
Yeah.
like
I was
gonna
wet.
say,
And it's
yeah.
just
It would be
like,
one-
Why is all my food wet?
It would
I
be
don't
one
like
thing
it.
if it was like one at the top hanging over and it was like a plate of calamari.
Yeah, but
that would
it's
be
not.
different. But that's
Right,
not it.
decorative, But
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what you eat.
But you're eating this fried deliciousness.
Yeah.
That'd be different. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's like
no,
this.
no one fries food like us Americans, so we can't expect it from all the other people.
I
Well, the
mean,
British have always been kind of suspect with their food.
That's
Are we?
true.
That is true.
That's true. But there's
this
like
British,
for them
the
is
Scots.
even.
There's like
Anyone.
there's like a green Jello mold.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's like
Tentacles
what is
everywhere.
that spaghetti?
It
Oh, it was worms.
He said it was
Pickled
worms.
earthworms.
earthworms.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Ugh.
Peter Capaldi was eating so well.
Did you guys
they were
ever
red.
read the book How to Eat Fried Worms when you were a
Yes.
kid?
Yeah.
I love that.
I loved that book.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I loved that book.
I love that book. I'm going to go back tonight. I'm going to go back and go down a rabbit hole and read all about it. Thank you.
I mean, you could probably read it in like an hour now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It'd be real quick. But no, I think because there were more.
There were
books.
more, but like I read the original.
Oh, no, I did too, but I want to
Yeah.
go through the whole history now.
Yeah. Oh, God, I loved that book.
How to eat fried worms.
Yeah, it was just like, it was like
my favorite, a Scholastic Book Fair find.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It was
And it was such a simple story. Like, it was just he lost a bet and he
Yeah.
like had to think of different ways to cook worms.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. I love that book.
Shit.
So Peter Capaldi, as the resident archaeologist, unearths this like giant
Skull.
of
Yeah.
a worm.
It looked
Right.
like
something.
It looked like the skull of one of the people from Bad Taste.
Yeah.
First off,
Yeah.
just the big head.
It was
yeah.
actually a modified skull of a cow. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I wondered.
It was modified.
I
Yeah.
wondered.
So
So not real.
But-
The
wait.
skull isn't real. What?
Well, I mean, the skull
dare
was real,
But modified.
Modified.
but why is there a skull on this little plot of land out in the English moors or
Beware
countryside?
the moors. Avoid the moors.
Well, there's a
What do they
grove.
say?
Yeah.
There's a grove, and it's next to the moor. I
Stay
don't
off
know,
the
but
moors.
Oh yeah, you stay off the moors.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Stay off the
You
moors.
stay off the moors.
beware the moon.
Is it
And
what?
beware the moon and stay off the moor.
Okay, there
Yeah.
it is. All right.
Haven't you ever read Wuthering Heights? Nothing good
Stick
happens
to
on
the
the moors.
road.
No, stick to the
Stay
road.
clear of the
Yeah.
moors.
Nothing good happens on the moors.
No, we don't go to the moors. Or the moops. Either one.
So why is this skull
Right.
on this plot of land?
So, this was the scene of the legend of the worm.
There was a
The worm
what was-
temple.
The temple.
There was a temple.
A monastery.
A monastery
Yeah.
there? Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a monastery that was there.
During
Yeah.
like the Roman occupation, right?
Right.
They built
Yeah.
a
But
monastery.
I was like, but all Christian based events, they built the monastery on top of
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
this like sacrificial place.
pagan-
Yeah. Somebody else. The yeah.
Yes.
They built it on top of, yeah.
yeah. They worship
that.
some
Built on top.
like ancient
Right.
worm deity or snake deity or something like that.
Indeed.
It had a
Yeah.
name, but I can't remember.
Dionin,
Dione.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dione.
which is not a real god.
Okay. All right.
I
You
did-
never know.
I did
Bram
look it up,
Stoker,
yeah.
if he- yeah.
I did look it up. It is a fake god that was just created for Lair of the White Worm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently there were because at one point there's one of these like Ken Russell hallucinations. It is weird how they're like superimposed imagery,
Yeah.
quick cut editing. Actually, you know what? I remember thinking when I saw the Lords of Salem, the Rob Zombie movie,
Yes.
when that scene
Yes.
came, like the quick cuts, I'm like, he's ripping off or paying homage to
That's exactly
Ken
what I thought
Russell.
too. Yeah.
It's like he's seen
Absolutely.
those Ken Russell movies and that's what he's doing. But that's what it looks like. But it also looks like it was like shot on film and then maybe off of a videotape.
Yeah.
It's a weird visual style.
Right. Plus, there's green screen on
Yeah.
there where they're taking out different bits of people and imagery.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's cool.
And
Feels
all
like
of
early,
these nuns
very
were
early
like,
MTV.
yeah, that also,
Sexy
yeah.
MTV.
And all the nuns were
Very
like raped
Inagata
by
Davida.
the
Yeah,
Roman
very.
centurions or something in this like scene that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like a hallucination that characters experience when they come in contact with snake venom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
Yes.
snake
Yes.
chewing on Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a big snake curled
snake.
around
Yeah.
Jesus
Yep.
on the cross.
Yeah. Well, the Romans are raping nuns.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Like you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ken Russell. There you
Ken
go. That's
Russell.
Ken fucking Russell, man.
so, who else is in this movie?
All right. So Amanda Donahue is Lady Sylvia Marsh.
Where else have I seen her? 'Cause she looks very
She was on LA Law
She
for a
was-
while.
Actually,
maybe that's
credited with one of the first lesbian kisses in American TV history on LA Law.
Oh, cool.
Amanda Donahue.
Nice. I
Love her.
it.
She was in a movie. I've always wanted to see it. It's called Castaway with her and Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where he's like a 49-year-old drunk alcoholic writer and he hires this woman to come out and marry him. She's 25. Then,
Oh, my
it was a
God.
real life thing. She
Yeah.
went back and wrote this story that became the movie.
All
Weird.
right.
I'm into it. I want to watch it.
Yeah. She dated, was it Adam Ant?
She dated Adam Ant, yeah,
wow.
for a long time.
Yeah. Defended him against some
Allegations.
accusations.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
We
right.
don't like an allegation.
Nope.
And the cult that no, that wasn't her. Never
That's
mind.
not her.
the
We'll
other
get to that
Yep,
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that one. So yeah, she was Lady Sylvia Marsh, who is the like priestess, the snake, the millennial old priestess, because she's been around as long as the snake has, basically.
Basically, yeah.
So she's like the Lady Dracula, kind
Yeah.
of,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
the analog for Lady Dracula.
I love her nonchalance going through all of this.
She-
having been around for so long and done it for so long, and just kind of she's very quippy. She's very.
She is everything that I want to be.
yeah. This is Holly's role model.
It is.
As far
It's
as
absolutely
attitude,
my role model.
fashion, what have you.
She looks like she just hopped out of an Italian fashion magazine.
right. Always
She's-
beckoning
she's-
people. It's
Yeah.
like,
she-
"Ugh."
Like she's just, she just like reaches out her hand, which I've done this and it works.
That's what,
Yeah.
when you put out a hand like that, like people will go to it.
It's so funny. It works. I've done this at multiple parties with my friend Drew. I'll just like look at him and I'll just like go like this, and he immediately comes over. It fucking works on
yeah.
people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because it's like it's that humane thing to like help someone who needs something.
Yeah.
Right in front of you. It's just like,
And
oh, okay.
I've discovered that if you do it like this,
This
As,
works
like-
well for radio,
Yeah,
but she's
sorry,
extending a
sorry.
hand behind her.
Don't-
Yeah,
Right.
what is the?
yeah,
You
don't
face
do.
away from the person.
Yeah,
extend your hand back.
don't look at them and do like the finger this way.
No, no,
That's
no.
like disrespectful.
No,
but
no,
if you kind of look and then just like do the upside down hand and
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
beckon,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Does it work better if with your other hand you throw it over your brow and like melodrama?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
That-
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
all right, but
yeah.
when you have your hand like this, you can't do that. It's,
It's like,
Open.
open the hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's kind of how I read this character. Like
I love
at
that
that
people
moment,
are just hearing that, not seeing that, Sean. Yeah.
Forget you people. Well, all right,
Yeah.
somebody take a picture. Yeah.
you,
Put that on there.
you put the back of your
Just hearing the noises
back
you're
of your
making,
hand
so-
to your
Yeah.
forehead.
I'm also wiping the sweat from my breath from a very hard day.
Sean's basically laying on a fainting couch
Yeah.
right now.
Yes,
Yes. There it is.
that's her character, right?
Yeah, I
She's
love
very-
her.
Yeah,
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean-
but this is all a front to who she actually is.
I mean, is it though? I
Well,
think
mean,
she's
just,
both.
Just the more the vulnerable
When-
stuff, because I don't imagine this
when she
woman is being...
when she says I'm a bit schizophrenic, I believe her.
Oh, no, I do too.
Like she's both. She's
Yeah.
Snake Lady and she's just this amazing like
Do you think she was actually showing ultimate vulnerability at that point? It's just like a realization, like I am a little schizophrenic, or do you think she was putting that on?
no, she's putting it on because the whole story
like
was
she was putting
bullshit.
it on,
Yeah, she
but-
said when I was a little girl, I was bitten by a snake, and I've developed a a fascination and repulsion of them.
Yeah.
I'm a bit schizophrenic.
Oh yeah, no, that was
But then we
No,
learn
it's all
it-
act.
she's
Yeah, that was
actually
an
been
act.
around
Yeah.
long enough to romance Roman emperors.
Yeah,
You know, and all that.
exactly.
that was an act, but I do believe that she's schizophrenic in the fact that she is both people. She's
Oh,
a
yeah.
fabulous woman and she's the Snake
Yes.
Lady. She's both. I love her. I
A lot
want to
of
be
good
her.
Scarves, a lot of good wardrobe, ropes,
So many great robes.
So we
a lot of
and-
leather.
Yeah.
Pants.
yeah, I mean the costuming on her obviously,
Gorgeous.
but then her alter
I'm stuck in
ego.
a tree. Oh, help.
I love this. Amazing.
Or the lack of costumes, I guess,
Yeah.
because she's wandering around this
And
movie.
body paint.
So what is okay? So what's going on there? This is her alter ego,
right. Yeah.
right?
Lady Sylvia Marsh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's also like, so is she the head of a snake cult, or because there's no cult worshippers in this? I
No.
think her
Yeah.
cult has died off.
The Bram Stoker story is a cult.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
in Ken's version, it's just
Well, she's all that's
her.
left.
But
Yeah.
she's like the keeper of the worm, basically.
Yes.
Like she
Yeah.
feeds it and keeps it in check, I guess.
But
Yeah.
I think, well, for the worm to live is for her to live
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but she is some kind of, obviously she has like immortality or something. But I mean, her eyes change yellow. She has the big,
She does
fangs.
become Mystique at some point.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's what with the body
Yes.
paint. You're like, what the hell, and
You know
And the-
Betty White in Lake Placid and how she was taking
Yeah.
care of that's this lady for the Lair of the White Worm. She's just taking care of the worm.
she's just living as Lady Sylvia Marsh, and then I like how she said that she basically hibernates in the winter.
that's what
Yeah,
was gonna
I
say,
love that.
hibernates
That was
in the
great.
winter.
That
I
was
like,
great.
wow.
But I think she's just Lady Sylvia Marsh, but then he uncovers the skull,
yeah.
which is what brings about Snake
well, she
Lady.
has been feeding people to the because apparently the worm needs sacrifice
Right.
maybe every year
It
or
seems
something
like
because we
the
learned
parents,
there was
the parents have disappeared a year prior.
right of
Where
the
did
other
they
two
go?
women in the cast. But before we get there, I guess like her I guess, whole. Well, what, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Okay,
We'll
so
come back to it. We'll come back
Okay.
to
I
you.
get it.
So that's Lady Sylvia Marsh. We also have 2 sisters in this. The first one we have is Catherine Oxenberg, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with Catherine Oxenberg.
I am.
She was famous for being in the show Dynasty.
Okay.
But she
Is this Kate McKinnon or the other one?
the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
The other one. This is Eve.
Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sacrificial girl. So Catherine Oxenberg is actually royalty.
Yeah.
Oh.
She is the daughter of the Princess of Yugoslavia, who's like the second cousin to King Charles.
Okay. Wow.
Which
Yeah.
is weird because I first saw her in a TV movie. It was a remake of Roman Holiday. Where
Yeah,
she's
and-
playing a princess.
And
I'm like,
she's played like Lady Di in a couple things. Like
Oh, wow.
But she's also famous because she was, well, no, this isn't what makes her famous. She was also married to Caspar Indian. But then
yeah, for years, right? I mean, they were. Yeah,
They were
I
married for
remember
years.
her.
They had kids together,
Yeah.
yeah.
they were together for a long time.
Wow.
But she was part of the Nexium cult.
No,
Oh,
she
nice.
She was.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, Colin. I know.
should know.
I know. She was part of the Nexium cult. She got out fairly early, realizing like, oh, this is fucked up
Which
shit.
one was the
Her
Nexium
daughter,
cult?
India, was like one of Keith Raniere's sex slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
That was
it's
the one with the Smallville.
yeah, the
That's what I
Smallville
was
girl.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that the
Allison
one?
Mack.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
Allison Mack. Yeah.
It
Who was
looks
like
Roman
currently in
numerals.
jail, right?
Nexium.
All right, so
yeah.
was she on? Who was the one that was also in like Star Wars? Is that?
Oh,
she was
that's
part of the
that's Bonnie Peath.
Was she with the Nexium thing
Bonnie
as
Peath
well?
was in Nexium
Okay,
as well,
all right,
yes.
just making sure.
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
You notice everybody in this cult was like C-list people. Like that's the best they could do.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Didn't she have like a?
and good for them, I
Did
guess.
you say
but-
she made like a documentary? It was like trying to rescue her daughter or something. from-
So she was a big part of The Vow on HBO.
Okay,
And she was
that?
yes.
Okay.
And she was also a big part of India did a documentary as well. And
She
she's
got out?
She did the other
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I remember
India,
this.
India
Okay.
eventually got out. And they did
And
like
Keith
a,
Raniere's in prison right
Keith
now.
Raniere's
isn't
in
he?
prison,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
Do you think
Keith
they have
Raniere,
volleyball in
right.
prison? Do you think he still play volleyball? He was obsessed with volleyball.
He was
Okay.
obsessed
Yeah.
with
all coming back.
volleyball.
Yeah.
All this all
He was
coming back to me.
obsessed.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
He
which
was.
which if you watch season 2 of The Vow, they do have like some conversations with him over the phone in season 2, which is interesting. And they talk to Nancy a lot, which is very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, Catherine Oxenberg is in this. We were talking to Peter Capaldi.
the other sister, Sammy Davis is her name, but
Sammy Davis.
I
Yes,
didn't
Kate
recognize
McKinnon.
her from any. Yeah,
Yeah.
She
it
looks
looks
like
just
Kate
like Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon.
Exactly
yeah.
like
Is
Kate
Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon overacting in an SNL role?
Yeah, exactly.
Dramatic look
Yes.
right, left, into the moonlight,
Yeah.
big teeth.
yeah. So they're sisters. So had she done anything else? Do we know
Not
her from
really.
anything?
I didn't
hope
recognize anything.
Okay.
No.
No. So she and Catherine Oxenberg are sisters. They run like a hostel, which
Man.
never seems to have any people at it. That's the land.
Well, no, they always talk about that there's
Yeah.
people there,
They
but we
always
never
talk about
see
that.
them.
We never
Right.
see them.
But-
They're expecting the tea.
The young guy who ultimately becomes a victim of Lady Marsh, was he supposed to be staying
No,
there?
because they own a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
They
he
have a-
was going to a hostel.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they have a farm, which is also a bed and breakfast, and that kid was going to a youth hostel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Angus is staying at the farm. He digs this up.
Yeah.
It's on the land of a Hugh Grant. And so then it's like this seems to trigger the involvement of Lady Marsh, right? So Lady Marsh ends up stealing this skull. Is that what like sets everybody off on like we gotta
Well, they find the dad's
Oh,
watch
Yep.
Yeah.
is what triggers like, okay, we finally have evidence to this disappearance.
Yeah. They
her-
disappeared a year ago.
The girl's parents disappeared a year ago.
Because there's a cave nearby.
Yeah.
There is a cave. Yeah.
Like on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Like cut
Yeah.
into a mountain. There's a cave.
Famously in a painting in Hugh Grant's bedroom.
And he never made the connection.
Never
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Huge
cave
cave.
where my
Right.
ancestor
That's where he
fought
lives.
Yeah.
I feel like he was never around this place until he inherited it, and then
Right,
came
he was
back.
just, like,
He's
off the-
oh shit! Look at that.
He was off at boarding school the whole
right,
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, history is actually happening. Right
And then
here.
having his gap year and traveling, and then
Right.
like, oh, now that he's the heir and has to come back.
And they
Yeah.
do mention he's like fly by night. He's just off doing shit all
Right,
the time.
yeah.
So this is the first time he's kind of settled in and realized, oh, some shit is afoot.
He's been away at school.
Yeah,
Or something. Yeah.
He's scholarly, not worldly.
Correct.
So they're gonna form a new search party. I think that's the plot, right? It's like, okay, we have to go find out what happened to the parents who disappeared last year. We're gonna search the cave and the surrounding area. Lady Marsh takes this opportunity to steal the skull and take it back to her. What's her house called? Temple House.
Temple House, yeah. I loved
an auspicious name.
I loved when she walked into the room and then got on her knees and like slithered to the.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because
that was amazing.
Because the way the shot is, when she first walks in, it feels like she could jump on that skull and ride it out of there.
Right.
Because it's huge. And then I'm like, did she just got on her knees?
She slithered towards it.
To fit the shot. That's what I was like.
Right. And I think that's what they did. They're just like, if you walk over, you're going to be too tall. You got to scuttle over on your knees.
But it works.
It works.
She slithers to it. It's so great.
It feels like she's like it's a thing for her. It's a holy thing for her.
Yeah.
They found this skull. She's like, oh, this is this.
She makes fun of Catherine Oxenberg later for like kneeling before her god, like on the cross. But that's what she's doing for her snake. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what I was going to bring up earlier. It's like this character, the alter ego, is like, so she's like part snake. So we see, like, I mean, the movie makes just some bizarre choices, which are amusing as all hell. But the fact that, like, so she lures this guy over to the house, like this.
It's like a Boy Scout.
Yeah,
he is a Boy Scout,
and with a conversation that's full of sexual innuendo, and brings him over. They play snakes and ladders in front of the fireplace.
Yes. A really like illustrative version of snakes and ladders.
Oh,
It's like this board looks dope.
It looks really cool.
Does, but specifically with the white worm on it.
Yeah. It's very cool.
But we find out in this scene, because he plays a harmonica, that like snakes,
she can be charmed.
Yeah, by music. So
she's like, I fucking hate that. Stop doing it.
Well, it was a Dracula scene with the mirrors, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but hers, it was like, oh shit, I have to dance.
Yes.
Over to this guy, and then when he stopped playing, it was like, this is
I love the uncontrollable urge to dance that happens sometimes in this movie.
Have you seen that video of? I think it's probably TikTok or something, but I saw it on Instagram. Anyway, this guy that he like uncontrollably dances when he hears Usher's "Yeah," like it's so funny. He's like, why are you doing this? You know what happens. It's
That's
so
exactly
funny.
what this is. Yes,
it's so funny.
But okay, this is where the logistics of snake charming start to like open up, and I need some hard like guidelines.
I wanted rules.
Yeah,
I wanted something like
because like my only reference for snake charming is like it's cartoons basically, right?
Old Bugs Bunny cartoons
exactly.
from way back,
So
which are probably not good for now.
No, it's always a cobra. It's always coming out of a basket, and it's always like some like flute pipe type thing, and it's the same song every time. But in this movie, it's any instrument and any song, I guess.
Well, I can't tell if
could you just put the radio on and she's like charmed?
Between instrument, I couldn't match up the tune.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if it's the same one.
Right. Because later
we get a mouth organ, harmonica.
Yeah.
It wasn't harmonica.
Yeah.
We get the bagpipes. And
Yeah.
one other, and just the record playing.
The record playing.
the
Yeah.
recording of like a Turkish like guy playing that flute, whatever.
Right.
She does come out of a basket.
That's what
she does come out of a basket.
The other bizarre choice.
Yes.
It was so wild. Like, they start playing this music, and we see this like human-sized snake basket.
Right.
Yes.
And she slithers out of it.
I was sitting, but now I have things to do.
Do you think that since she's like inhabiting these two personalities, there is weird bleed over, like that in her life, where like she just feels more comfortable sleeping in a human-sized basket, and it's like just these weird things that aren't quite fully snake but are still
Like if
weird.
she were, like if it were Dracula, it would be a human hanging from their feet upside down.
Yes.
It's one of those.
She doesn't have a bed. She sleeps in the
That's what they're
human-sized
doing,
basket.
right?
Yeah.
Well, there was one time she was in a tanning bed.
Yeah.
For reasons that
Snakes have heat lamps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When you have a snake, you have to have a heat lamp to keep it alive.
But she does
Go back to our episode to hear all our snake stories.
Snakes are cold-blooded and they get their heat from their environment, so they can't generate their own heat.
So
they
she
have to
also-
get
That's
it.
why she hibernates in the winter.
Yeah, that's why you see snakes laying out on like hot concrete and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my goddamn kitchen.
Sorry about that, Sean. The traumatic memory that we're bringing back up. But she gets out of that with the hand gesture of Bela Lugosi or whatever.
Yeah.
You're opening the the coffin,
Yes.
getting out of that. So it's like, okay, all right. This is. She also made a call back to Citizen Kane at one point.
She did. She said
But she
Rose.
burned-
I thought that was going to come back around. But
No.
What was it? She
No, 'cause
burned
she's
the
as
snakes
random
and
as we are.
yeah.
the snakes and ladders board.
Yeah.
She works
in the
It says
fireplace.
Rosebud.
Rosebud.
Yeah. And I was like, did I hear
Like,
that
did they
right?
burn the sled at some point?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, did
Yeah.
I miss something?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
childhood.
They do. Yes.
Burn the childhood. So maybe she
Yeah.
was like, but the story's
so
bad.
weird. Yeah.
No, it is just
About
a
her
random
childhood
comment.
and
Yeah. She was doing
she's-
a reference for herself.
Yeah, I was like, she's just doing what we all do. She's quoting a movie.
She is. And then it's just like to see it and go back.
Yeah,
Layer, just
right.
like, whoa. all
She's
right.
just like watching her precious board game. She's like, oh, Rosebud. That's my Rosebud.
Okay, so a movie like to her is like a snuff film, right? That's
Right.
horrible,
Basically,
right?
yeah.
Because lots of
Yeah.
snakes die in that.
It's a documentary.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no.
Yeah, but like, man, yeah, that's got to be like a snuff film for her for sure. She's like,
Maybe
we don't
she
want
like
What are you doing to my
advocated
people?
against it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what? So the search goes on. So she, we find out about her, I guess, vampirism or some of her plot because she abducts this guy, seduces him, bites him on the
bathes
dick.
him.
She bites the whiteworm.
Yeah.
She bathed him first because his BO, I assume.
Yeah.
She said his BO was really bad.
Yeah.
But this,
Guy has
okay,
been walking around in nature for who knows how long.
but this bath, like we
Is
say bath,
epic.
but it is like a Roman bathhouse,
It's
like in the
awesome.
middle of this castle, like a big stone round pool with like
Yep.
fountains and plants and
Oh, I
stairs that
love
lead
it.
down
I
to
want-
it.
I want it
Yeah, it's
right now.
incredible. Yeah.
So I
She
think the
bathes
water is.
him.
I think the water is hot enough.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Then bites him on the dick, which paralyzes him.
Yeah.
No,
Snake
as it
venom.
would.
Yeah.
I mean, well, okay.
And that's because she needs a sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
to the. So we never
Yeah.
see him again, right?
No, she kills
No,
him.
They're interrupted, so she
Yeah,
drowns
she's
him.
like, oh well, this is probably for the best for you, and like
I'm
shoves
doing
him
you a
underwater.
favor,
He
yeah.
drowns.
Does
Yeah.
so she wouldn't feed him? Does the worm need live?
That's what I was just gonna say. Does he have to eat live?
I think so.
Oh, so
Seems like-
she buried him out in the garden. Then it was like, damn
He's
it,
probably still-
all that
he's
work.
Probably
and-
still in the
Probably still in
bath.
the tub.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. She seems like the type that would get him out pretty quick. She seems like the type that loves her bath.
Oh, that's very true. She would like this for
Yeah.
me.
yeah. You got to keep the place.
Yeah, it is. It is that she doesn't have like technically a henchman,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought
It is
was,
A
weird.
butler.
Yeah.
Well,
A
I don't,
Yeah.
or what have you, but
Yeah.
like someone who's not like around all the time, like go do this.
Where's her
Right.
Renfield?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is her
Yeah.
Renfield?
Feels like
Yeah.
she would have like after being alive and around all this time, someone to do this for her.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like the
Maybe she's
movie
in between
eventually
butlers.
gives us a Renfield, kind of with.
But it's Hugh Grant's Renfield.
Mm-hmm.
Peters.
no. The cop. With the cop, there's
Yeah,
a friendly
Oh.
policeman.
For a little bit,
Okay.
but yeah. But
He
he's
kind of.
suits that role like at the very end of the
Yeah, a
movie.
little
Briefly.
But also, it could just be a vampire victim or whatever.
I
He's
think
been
that's-
transformed, and
I think that's what it is. Like she gets him near the end. She's like, "Well, I want you to do kind of wrangle up people for me. I don't necessarily want you to attend to my needs." I don't think she's found that person.
right, because she doesn't
she should've.
seem to need it. But I mean,
No,
I think she's probably like,
she's a
well,
woman
I'm
who
going
can
to
do it
find
all.
my sacrifice and then I'll build my army.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. I need to. Right. The sacrifice is the immediate need,
Yeah.
and then she'll
bring
turn
out the
into
worm.
luxury.
Yeah, we'll bring out the worm and then I'll get my people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
Hugh Grant meets her, right, and they have because they're similar social standing, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah.
And later, I guess it's because of that meeting that he begins to suspect that she's part of what's been going on, right? I did like the way that they structured these characters between Peter Capaldi and Hugh Grant. Like they both seem to contribute to our understanding and like what we're going to do about it. Hugh Grant is the one who makes the leap, like, what if they were eaten by a giant worm and the watch was past this excrement? Peter Capaldi is like, you jest, sir.
I do like this though, because he's just like, well, if it ate it here, it would flow through this tiny thing and would end up here, and it's just like it only makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And Peter Capaldi provides like like he knows stuff about, I suppose, about the actual historical
Right.
Yeah.
pagan deity, like how they were, what was worshipped
Yeah.
and the rituals and all
Well,
that.
and he understands the history of like what the Romans were doing there in that town and the temple and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does put the Sammy Davis character in kind of a predicament where she really doesn't seem to have a lot of like plot movement. Catherine Oxenberg will eventually become the like object of the ritual sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So they all end up going to the cave. Was there, but prior to that, was there like plot devices or?
I mean, bagpipes comes up, but are we what before that? Because we get to the Boy Scout getting kidnapped, and there's that whole thing. Hugh Grant goes over.
They go to the cave, but they're really not there very long. That's just that's just a device to get Catherine Oxenberg separated from the group. Really,
true. Yeah, because she goes
she's
and
abducted
she's kidnapped.
when she's walking home.
Yeah.
And by Lady Marsh.
Yeah, who's just hanging out in a tree.
And she can like
hanging out in a tree.
Hypnotize
there was
people.
a kitchen up here, and I tried to get it.
I mean, yeah.
Now I can't get down myself.
But I've lost my way. This 2-foot jump is too much for me.
I like the way she
Help me in my
kind of
leather
floats to the ground.
Help me in my leather pants. Get out of this tree.
And then she's able to put the whammy on Catherine Oxenberg.
Yeah.
Come with me and we'll go back to my house.
Okay.
And so then she's being prepared
a phone call and make it believable, and she does not at all.
Not at all. Not in the slightest.
Well, because she's stirred to consciousness, but she has like
even before she's stirred to consciousness, it's not
a
believable.
crucifix or something on her.
What's
ring.
the ring on her finger?
Yeah,
she's like she's getting more images of like the white snake eating Jesus, and she's like, ah.
Well, the crucifix brings her back.
Yeah.
Because it's like, snap out of it, Jesus.
And then I guess summons the other three who are like, she's not on the train to London. Like she said, there's something going on and we have to figure out why.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole dinner scene where they figure this whole...
Yeah, they're eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. There's bread and spaghetti and wine.
Spaghetti.
I like it.
Yeah.
And it's like Lady Catherine or Lady Sylvia Marsh.
Yep.
She's at the center of all this. We have to go to her house. So our heroes split up, right? Well, no, Hugh Grant is attacked in his house.
Oh yeah, we can't forget all this because they eventually end up going to what is the whole plan? They're because Hugh Grant's putting together a plan with music. His father.
That is hilarious, though. He puts gigantic speakers.
I love this. I was
on
not
his
expecting
roof
this.
And plays the Snake Charmer.
Yes.
LP.
Yeah.
And Sylvia has to dance out of her fucking mansion.
I like how he's just like, damn it, Peter, where's my Snake Charmer record?
He plays one that's got a beat to it, and it's like, does this sound like it? And the butler Peters.
Doing some work here.
Yeah.
He's
The man
good.
who has seen some shit.
Yeah.
And it just his whole personality, like I wish I liked
It
this
immediately
guy.
conjures to mind, sir, the euphemism is belly dancer.
He understands. He's like, she was a belly dancer. It's just,
He's good. I mean, he's funny.
He's very good.
He's very
good. He's
funny.
very funny.
He's attacked and killed by, I guess we find out that the girl's mother.
Parents. Or at least the mother, yeah.
So we're assuming the dad was sacrificed, eaten by the worm.
Yeah.
That's why the watch did, as Hugh Grant said, was shit out by the worm and ended up being found.
But the mother's still there.
But she's like entranced by videos of women performing
Aren't we all?
unspeakable acts with the serpent.
Okay.
But she's like a vampire, right?
Yeah.
And she is the one who gets loose and attacks. He cuts her in half.
Cuts her in
with
half.
a broadsword.
It's wonderful. It's a
Yeah.
slow motion scene where he does a full twist and turn.
Just
with
like
a
his
sword,
ancestors.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like he fulfills that prophecy at that point, and he cuts her in half.
Hey.
And the shot of her in half, still flailing about.
Right.
I think it elicited some small cheers from the crowd.
Yes.
Like, it was great.
It was great.
Did a good job of masking where she was in the floor, I thought. You know?
Because also, like, her legs, she should be, like, stomach down on both parts, but the other half was, like, legs kicking
Yes.
out. She's turned all about.
I do want to make a note. You said broadsword, which is like, that's important distinction for me because a broadsword's like a two-handed sword. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I always think about how in Game of Thrones they always talked about how Ned Stark and Robert would carry broadswords into battle, and like that was like a big deal because you got a two-hand. How strong you have to be to whip around a broadsword?
Right.
Like,
Plus,
wow.
like, wasn't ice like a huge broadsword?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's why Hugh Grant has to spin.
Yes,
but
exactly.
He has
Get
to
the momentum.
get that
ends with
momentum.
the capper on that scene is hilarious.
Falling into the drums.
Yeah, because he can't wield it, and he ends up falling in slow motion. Him slamming into his drum set.
I love that. But that's great though. It's like yes, it's in his family. He's supposed to do this, but it's also like. No one in his family has had to wield a sword in probably 100 years.
He's also a small Englishman.
So it's great. It's a great capper to it.
Dude, I feel like if I did one day of like sword play, like even not broadsword, just regular one-handed, the next day I'd be like, God, my back fucking hurts. Like the whole next day I'd be complaining about it.
Yeah. Much training.
Should we all take up fencing?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, seriously. Dude, fencers must have the most ripped like upper body strength of all time because it's all arm and back movements. It's crazy. Nothing but respect for fencers.
Right? Love it.
Well, the plan eventually becomes we're going to lure Lady Marsh out with the music while Angus and, sorry, I can't remember Sammy Davis's character's name, the other sister, Mary are going to go in and try and save Eve from a certain death. So they get into the castle. Mary is bitten by her mother, I think, before she runs off and attacks Hugh Grant. So, but this is where Angus is able to suck the venom out and then have that analyzed so he can come up with an antidote.
Yeah.
So he can lure the
antidote.
And he lures the snakes with bagpipes. I mean, that is comedic in itself, right? I mean, it's him wandering around like playing
and becoming out of breath. This is also when Mary is later on picked up by the police. There's been a whole thing after Hugh Grant kills the mother. He supposedly goes to the police. And there's questioning and all that stuff. But the head police guy who we've seen before, the only policeman necessarily, the other guy is out of commission because everything that could go wrong has happened to the other policemen.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's a very funny scene.
Like, I can't do that because you took the car.
Get a taxi. Well, we arrested him for drunk driving. Well, get your bike. Well, the pump broke. Well, walk. Well, I'm eating my dinner. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for this. But he ends up the head cop. He got bit earlier on in the movie. This is where we first met Sylvia. But then he gets turned again later on, and he becomes a little suspicious, and then he fully turns into a henchman of her and attacks Mary on her property.
And attacks Angus while he's snake charming him. That's when he runs out of breath with the bagpipes. And this the cop attacks,
but he
ends up like getting impaled on a sundial, right?
Yeah.
A snake-shaped sundial.
The cop gets impaled on through his glass eye, which we figure.
Yeah.
But then he ends up doing bagpiping through her castle.
Yes.
Through her mansion and trying to lure her out and everything, but she's
doing a Pied Piper situation.
Right, but she has planned against it. Because she's
a modern woman.
Because she's been around forever and she knows the tricks.
Yep.
So she's got earplugs and then she ends up biting.
She just like takes it like, you dumb bastard, and takes one of her ears.
She bites Peter Capaldi on the knee.
Yep.
And so he is out for a moment.
She drags him down to the ceremonial ritual room, which the lair of the white worm. All these places have to have that, right? I think this is like the only big set. The rest of the movie does, like, the cave is a real cave.
It's a real cave.
The mansions are real houses.
Yeah.
This feels like
there's a farmhouse. There's the two mansions. Everything's great. I love all these sets.
Yeah,
but this is like
but they're real.
Set,
they're not sets. They're real.
Right.
Like
Now we are in a Cave of Wonders, and there are. It's dragged down there, and there's a very circular anus-like pit.
Yeah,
as it were,
a wormhole.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yes,
literally a wormhole. We'll
which you can dangle your sacrificial
virgin.
Woman, a virgin. Yeah, she had
very
to be a
important.
Yeah, she was right.
The whole.
She'd been, like she said.
That's because that's why.
Been very good.
That's why when they fed the dad, and like, well, this is just food. This isn't a sacrifice because he's not a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very important.
There's a lot of pagan giant dildos in this movie.
Yeah.
She had like a metal cod piece on at one point.
Yeah.
It was really
there's a
interesting.
lot of spire looking, just uncomfortable. You're like, oh, I know what that's for, and I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose worm.
I was like,
imagery in this.
Snake, snake, worm, phallic. It's all, it's all there.
So he's leaning into it. Russell is like, any opportunity 100%. That I can. The cave painting.
Yep.
So our hero, which is Angus. Well, okay, so Hugh Grant, because you can, if you're a lord, just hire a bunch of guys to bring smoke making
to smoke out a cave.
He hires the band.
He does.
It's the band.
It was the band,
right? But in a town like this, you can't just be the band because there's not enough gigs to
this
go
is
around.
their day job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're cave people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have all the equipment and everything.
Yeah. It's like in a little tourist town. It's like, well, I'm in a band. I'm also a bar back. I'm also a painter. Like, you do all of the odd jobs in town. Yeah.
Whatever needs done, whatever I can get paid for.
So they go to the actual cave to pump a bunch of smoke into the fissure to try and, because Hugh Grant's like, there is some
there
kind
is a thing. There is a creature. There is something we can smoke out. We will find it.
That it was buried by a cave-in or some
A
point.
cave-in do it, and the other end of it, which we see later, is something it can't escape, as we do see, because it gets his head up in the thing. It can't go any further. But
it comes up in the basement of the temple.
Yeah,
house.
what do you say? It was a cave-in, so it's a cage, but it's also like a sanctuary.
Yeah.
It can
Refuge.
survive down there. A refuge, yeah.
It trapped the big giant worm. So there is a big giant
There's
worm
a big giant worm
in this movie.
Indeed.
Thank goodness.
And we get to see it.
I like it.
Yeah.
How much of it do we get to see?
The head.
What happens in the
The
action
The head of the
climax?
white worm.
But it's sufficient. It's very big. It looks cool.
Right.
It's efficient. It's very big. It's very
Yeah.
cool. All right.
The head of the white worm.
Yeah. All right.
The title said the lair of the white worm, and I saw a lair and I saw a white worm. So I mean, I got everything I was promised,
There you
know,
go.
and then some.
Yeah, I wonder if I can use this to hit on a woman.
No.
Nope. All right. That's why I bring it up.
Hard pass. Nope.
That's why I bring it up. It's like if you say no, I'll pass.
So our heroine is dangling perilously over the chasm which houses the giant
And
white
Lady
worm.
Sylvia is full snake mode at this point.
Full
Yes.
snake mode, full mystique mode.
Yeah,
She
she's all
is
blue
body
and
painted,
scaly and
eyes,
naked and
topless,
wonderful.
Yeah.
And Peter Capaldi is immobilized by snake venom. But we discover that he had injected himself with the anti-venom.
Hattie?
And so, well, that's what we know at this point.
Yep.
And so suddenly he recovers and is able to save the day. How's he do that?
He just gets up.
Well, he gets up. At this point, Snake Lady is cutting the rope to let Catherine Oxenberg
I do
fall.
like that at a certain point she's like, no time for ceremony. We just got to do it.
Yeah.
And she's going to start
Was it
cutting
because the snake got stuck in
No,
the...
because the smoke came through.
Oh,
I think it
right.
was smoking it out, and the snake came too early, and so she had to
I hate when that happens.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so the snake came too early, and so she's like, all right, we don't have time for the actual ceremony of this. I just need to drop the bait into the snake.
There you go.
Yep.
That's it.
But he's able to save her. How?
Yeah. Well, he
force of
tries
will.
to tackle her, and she ends up falling and grabbing hold of Catherine Oxenberg's ankles,
Right.
and or not ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, ankles.
Yeah, her
Thank you.
ankles.
Yeah,
Has her by the ankles. But
And
the rope
he-
has been severely
That's
cut,
right.
so we're falling.
So he leans down and he cuts her hand off.
Yep.
Yes.
Saws for quite a bit.
quite a bit.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
that was.
Right.
It didn't look easy, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Has to saw through the whole
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, whole
And that
hand.
drops Lady Marsh into
Into the
maw
white worm.
Yeah.
of the white worm below.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the implication is that they detonate the house somehow.
No.
Well, no,
He
yeah.
he takes
Pulls a grenade
He pulls
from
a
his-
grenade from his crotch.
From his crotch.
Because he's
Seems like
wearing
the
a
worst
kilt
place
at
to
this
keep
He's
point.
wearing a kilt.
What's it hanging from?
Yeah. He's wearing a kilt. He reaches into the kilt in the front and pulls a grenade, which he throws into the mouth of the white worm, and it explodes. Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You should, Colin, you should have a pipe.
Yeah.
I have seen pipe vapes
Did you-
before.
have you? Yeah.
Yeah, you should. You
Oh,
just
just
put you should have it for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost
I'm gonna
like
buy,
that.
I might buy you one.
I was
have
gonna
a
say the
pipe.
Renaissance Fair has like real deal like handmade pipes you can buy, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not that expensive. But like I'm always like, well, I want this for weed, and then they're like, well, you can't smoke weed out of it because the oils will build up and it'll clog. I'm like, you're just say it's illegal. Just don't give me
But
a
there
lie.
are vape pipes
Like exactly.
that I've seen recently. I'm gonna buy you one.
yeah.
Because you should have it out
Just
of
for
your-
these
You
moments.
should.
exactly.
You should
Yeah.
also have a
It would look
smoking
better.
jacket.
Yeah.
Image is everything, Colin.
You should have a smoking jacket too.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
One thing at a time.
An ascot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
one thing at a time. We'll get there.
So we're like, okay, the villain has been vanquished. The creature is
Eaten by the
dead.
white
The
worm.
virgin
Is the creature
saved.
Oh yeah, blown up by the
creature is
grenade.
blown
Blown
up,
up by the
yep.
grenade. Yeah.
Hugh Grant's like, I contributed to this. I smoked it. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's
it's
like-
the smoke. That's the smoke
That's
that
the
he
smoke,
blew
yeah.
through it coming out at the house.
Yep.
Okay, and
So
so,
he did help.
and Sammy Davis is reunited with her sister.
Yes, and Angus at this point is like, "Here's, I'm going to give you the antidote as well." And
Yes, there's
but
antidote.
he's like, "But I'm going to send you to the hospital because you might need to be checked out."
Just in
Yeah.
case.
So then there's a coda, I guess, to
Mm-hmm.
the movie, where we find out through an emergency call from the hospital, right? They've been trying desperately to get a hold of him. It turns out, right, there was a mix-up.
I would be so pissed.
Well, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We know you were looking for an antidote to a venom that will kill people.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we accidentally sent you what? Arthritis medicine?
That's
my
what it is.
You can get it tomorrow.
Major lawsuit, right?
Major.
Yeah.
So basically, it just dulled his pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no snakes in this, venomous snakes in
Right,
this
but
part
this
of
time of year,
England.
it's like, that's
You'll
not up
be
for you to
fine.
decide,
Yeah.
scientist woman.
Right.
So he has injected himself with the wrong stuff. So then we're like, well, wait, then how did he bounce back from...
So he just gave himself a surge of adrenaline.
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
placebo effect got him, I guess. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, he thought it
Yeah,
was that, and that
right.
was it. Yep.
But that means...
Yeah,
He
he's
is-
looking at himself in the mirror and he's kind of like feeling his neck and you see his tongue go out a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought he was checking his teeth for fangs.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
at one point because he put
Yeah.
hands in his mouth.
Yeah.
But then it's like, so then that was the change, right? You were you a minute ago, but then when he comes out to
Yeah, he
Hugh
gets-
Grant,
He's
he's
in
like,
Hugh Grant's car, and I like Hugh Grant opens the door. And he's like, "Slytherin,"
Yeah. Again, they knew what they were doing.
and then
Yeah.
they're driving along. And Hugh Grant's like, "I'm famished. Do you want to stop for a bite?" And he was like,
Bite. He's like,
"I think we can do that."
ooh,
Yeah.
we should.
And then he just looks at him all smarmy.
Like there should have been teeth. All we get is a kneecap reveal
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
bite marks, which we already knew were there. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay.
oh, well,
Right.
that gives Hugh Grant time to react and do something and save himself. So we don't know how it goes because
Right.
we
No.
cut to credits.
Cut to credits
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
a great song.
Yep.
it's a
the song from
reprise
before.
of
It's
the
the song from the party,
Yeah,
but it's
the
about
reprise
the
of
it's
Snake
about the white
song,
worm.
which I'm
Yeah.
gonna add this to some playlist. 'cause
It's so
this
good.
I like it.
It's
Right.
so good. It's like the Dropkick Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so good.
Irish
Yeah,
punk
it's
song.
What about
Yeah.
King
Yeah.
John or
It's
Lord
Yeah.
John
worthy of listening
fighting
to
the worm?
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Lair of the White Worm.
Lair of the White Worm.
All right. Well, now we're going to tell you if we would recommend that you watch it. But first, we're going to read some of your mail. In order to do that, we're going to have to summon our mailman, Igor. Bring us the mail.
Masters, the mail. I've got the mail. So many letters. Our followers are rising.
Why, thank you, Igor.
Do you think they share layers?
Well, I was gonna say, like, what layer is Igor tending to under the basement? That's what I was thinking. He was more like tending to it, but now that you say that, maybe the layer is to his.
Mm.
I didn't think about Igor
I
having a
think
layer.
he has his own
but-
little wormhole.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Think about what you just said. I think he has a little wormhole. Yeah. Sorry,
you can-
Igor.
You can email Igor directly. This is
Yep.
so we should let the good folks at home know how they can participate on the show. Keep Igor gainfully employed.
Please, otherwise he starts eating things.
That's right. Or ask him questions about
Yeah.
his, himself.
I wonder if anyone of our dear listeners, dear brailers, dear writers in have just like started personal conversations with him that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I wonder. We'll have to interrogate Igor later.
I mean, we'll be coming up on what 15 years of doing the pod probably soonish. Does he get bat mitzvah then?
Oh,
Does he get become a
Is it
man
15?
version?
Was it- is it
13? Is it
13? I think
13?
it's
See, I'm
13.
not.
I think
Oh,
it's 13.
shit! Did we miss his bat
well, I
mitzvah?
think we did. Oh, that's why he's been
Okay.
fucking unruly lately.
yeah.
Okay.
He can have a quinceanera.
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
Wait, what year is that? Quinceañera?
15. That's
All right,
15. Yeah.
Igor
Yeah,
Quinceañera is coming up.
Well, he
Wear
maintains
white.
our
Yes.
our social media accounts, and you can find us on Facebook,
Facebook.com/Saturday Night Freak Show.
on X,
That's that freak show.
on by email,
SaturdayNightFreakShow@yahoo.com.
or on Instagram at Saturday Night Freak Show. About tonight's movie, Lair of the White Worm, Michael Whitaker writes in and says, I first stumbled across this movie on the Sci-Fi Channel back when it was still good. This might be the first really weird movie that struck a chord with me. It's kind of surreal, very sexy, with snake vampires and two actors who would later team up again in one of the greatest Paddington movies.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Paddington too.
Yeah.
Was that Capaldi
Hugh-
and,
and Hugh Grant, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, for all you listeners out there, watch Paddington 2. It's great.
I have not seen a single one of those movies. Like, none of them. Isn't Nicole Kidman a villain in one?
I don't know.
The first one, I think?
I don't know. Hugh Grant's a villain in one. Watch them. They're good.
There's like 3 of them now.
I was very surprised. They're very good.
There's a reason they talk about it in the fucking movie with Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Unbearable weight of...
They're good.
Unbearable weight of massive talent.
Surprisingly. The third one's coming out. I think it's called Paddington in Peru. I think
it already came out.
Yeah.
It's good.
Aaron Dawn Gilmer says, true story, when I was very young, Amanda, we're saying this, Donahue? Donahue came out in the press and proclaimed she was bisexual. I grew up feeling very alone as someone who liked both girls and boys. Her honest and proud admission made one little 12-year-old girl feel seen.
Aww,
We like
I
that.
love that.
Wholesome.
We like that.
Yes.
The previous week, we watched a movie called Devil, and Travis Legler wrote in and said, this is one of those movies where I honestly don't know if they want to be taken seriously or they were just having fun making a goofy movie. Jelly side down is a sign of the devil's presence.
Exactly.
And the mattress salesman and how he behaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I flipped a half jelly sandwich and it was just like, oh shit, the devil's here.
Yep.
That's how you know. Everything goes wrong.
Yep.
That's how you know.
The previous week, right, we watched The Color of Night, and Ragtime Rye says we had some discussion about whether or not it was a sleazy movie. It's an erotic thriller. He says, sorry guys, but this movie is very sleazy. It's so bad it's entertaining, but certainly not a good movie in my opinion, but you had a good episode.
Like I said, I think our brains might be rotting from
warped.
Again, we're
being
warped.
soaked in sleaze. Yes.
Yeah, we don't know.
Our brains are pickled in sleaze. Yeah, you know? Like
this is mild on the sleaze.
Yeah.
All right, everyone said pickled and sleaze. Copyright 2025. Saturday Show. I just want to put
That's
that
a
out there.
band.
I'm just
That
imagining.
might be our documentary behind the scenes. Pickled and sleaze.
is a story.
great.
On the
I'm just
Saturday Night Freak
imagining
Show
like
podcast.
the young Frankenstein brains, and our brains just all like say sleaze on the label.
Yeah.
Like they've just been in the sleaze juice this whole time.
I
you
think
know?
so. I think so.
Like I said, if I told my mom there was a movie called Frankenhooker, she might like pass out, you know, like. But I watch that movie and like can eat while watching it, you know. So yeah.
And it's good that you people write in and tell us this stuff,
Yes.
so I know how to act in normal company.
Exactly. Thank you for your service.
So I can be like, okay, my mind's different. I need to adjust when I talk to people about movies.
Now I
So
wonder what
thank
I
you.
would have thought of it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't here for that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was The Color of Night. It was a
It
ride.
was a sexy movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Greatest sex scene of all time,
Yeah,
according to
yeah.
Maxim.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sean watches it alone.
He went back and watched it.
It's-
because she is naked for a lot of it. Like he comes home, she's just naked.
You see Bruce Willis full dong in
full
that
dong,
movie.
like she's
yeah.
in sexy situations. Yeah, it's sexy.
There's the word Maxim said it was the greatest sex scene of all time because it
there's a
goes-
lunch break.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they go at it again.
There's
Yeah.
sex, a food break.
Yeah, and then they
more
fuck
sex.
again. Yeah.
Okay,
and
but
the
that's
music
realistic.
swells
Yeah.
back up.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about it.
Yeah.
That's
Like I want a sandwich in between.
Yeah.
Sex breaks are realistic, and I appreciate a movie that shows that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all of you for
Go listen
writing
to our
in.
Color of Night episode if you haven't. Yes.
And apparently, I need to watch it.
Oh yeah, you should.
And now we're going to go around the table and tell you what we thought of tonight's movie, starting with
Michaela. I had to think. I'm like, Michaela, what did you think about Lair of the White Worm?
I'm glad we finally crossed this one off the
Yeah.
list because it's been lingering for a while, and I knew it was like snake related or something like that. And it had like when I read the little IMDb snippet, I saw the word archaeologist in the beginning, and I immediately closed out because I was like, okay, it's going to be a narrative driven by something ancients found, and it disturbs something, and which I love this. You know, I love this trope. I'm into it. Not enough snake movies in our general culture. I think we need. This is an untapped market that we need, and not necessarily from a comedic angle. Looking at, I looked up this new Anaconda movie while we were talking, and this looks fucking terrible. It's coming out on Christmas this year.
they got a trailer out already on it?
No, but there's stills and
Oh
no.
doesn't. I mean, it's the cast. It's just not going to be good.
Yeah, the cast leads to it not being.
They know it's already
Yes.
in kind of like parody.
Yeah, I think
right.
so.
It's just it doesn't look promising. Yeah. This I
There's
love.
no John Voight.
No. And like I said, it's
Paul Sauron.
It's like
Yeah.
snakes on a plane territory.
yeah. Well, yeah, but I think it's going to be more because like the genre said like action adventure comedy. So I'm telling you, it's going to be R-rated Jungle Cruise type
It
movie.
is.
That's
You're
exactly
right.
what it's
You're
going
right.
to be. no, untapped market, especially given how much people fear snakes, which I feel like is mostly justified. But I love the like rituals of it all. I like the weird cults. I like the fashion. Like it was a lot to look at. Good sets. We don't get tons of horror movies set in the English countryside either, so I always am down for that too. It lived up to the hype, I feel like, and I see why listeners requested it for so long.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally got to check it out, and it was very enjoyable. I'm really curious. There's got to be a Mystery Science Theater episode about this, and I would love to watch it. So I think I might dig that up. No, I love it. I feel like I don't have much to say because I just enjoyed it so much, and it hit everything I was hoping it would. I want to know more about snake charmer logistics and like how that works.
Right. I'm going to dig into this.
But like, I love that they leaned into like, well, if she's going to be snake charmed, she's got to come out of a basket. Like, I love that they did that. So
right. They went for that. I think that scene is like key to the movie.
Yeah.
About how you should feel about coming out of it. Just like, oh, she came out of a basket when they were trying to charm.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think that I love that their point of view was like, let's take what we know about snakes from cartoons and put that in a movie.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and it reminded me a lot. I play a game called Conan Exiles, which is like a survival game based on the Conan universe. And there's a religion in there called like the religion of Set, where they all worship snakes, and giant snakes show up. And there's women that are like, they're like mermaids, but their bottom halves are snakes, and they they swim around. And they reminded me a lot of this, and so that was really cool. It's always cool to see different kind of like spirituality represented, because we don't get a lot of interesting cults like this on screen. Loved it. Definitely recommend it. Probably because I'm probably gonna watch it again with like Mystery Science Theater. I'm sure it's out there. But yeah, I had a great time with it. Sean, what'd you think?
Yeah, had a good time with it. I'm glad we finally got to watch it. I was very surprised with this movie. I didn't know, like, Lair of the White Worm, had no idea what I was going to get into, but very entertaining, sexy, funny, kind of irreverent. The history behind it is very interesting as well. The actors in it, Hugh Grant, Peter Capaldi, like doing all this stuff. Like, yeah, there is entertainment to be had in this movie, and I really enjoyed it. Plus, also, it's like an hour and a half, and
it's quick.
For a movie like this, I thought we were going the distance as far as length was concerned. Maybe we did. But yeah, I was very entertained and very entertained by our conversation from it. Yeah, you should watch it. It's very fun. Yeah, good time. A good time was had, and I'd watch it again. So yeah, Lair of the White Worm. Watch it. It's good. Colin.
Yeah, it's like when I was sitting there watching it, I'm going like, it's like English folk horror.
Yeah.
We don't see enough of those like English countryside horror movies anymore. Like they used to make them. It feels like this is on the end of that era.
Yeah.
Because to me, like the English,
we're almost to the 90s at this point.
Yeah, this is 88.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we've had some stuff that taps into like English or Irish folk horror. The Hallow was a movie, was in 10 years ago or something like that, but fairies and sprites and stuff like that. But this whole, the folk horror aspect of it, it's like, to me, it's like horror. Those kind of horror movies are like England's Westerns, so this is like an updating of their Western, bringing it into a contemporary, setting. And then a lot of the movie does feel like it, because even the fact that Peter Capaldi has to dress in his kilt in order to play the bagpipe, it's like they all adopt the dress of their ancestors.
It's very traditional in that sense. Yeah.
I saw the movie when I was younger, and I think I took it seriously. And so then all this time I've kind of held a regard for the movie that like, well, that, movie's not very good, because it just struck me wrong. But it was because of what I was expecting from the movie. It's from the maker of, Bram Stoker and Ken Russell together. But I think to appreciate it, it's like it is a comedy, and so tonight it was like a whole different movie, and I'm sitting there going like, oh, I get it. It's like all this is intentional and it works, but I think you have to go into it. It's like it's not a straight horror movie.
No, not at all.
It's a comedic horror movie, and I just thought some of the jokes were hilarious. As Sean mentioned, some of the scares were effective,
pretty good. Yeah, just like the imagery is effective. It's being scary.
And it swings, it makes a big swing. It's a movie that is going to bring in a big animatronic snake head for its, sacrificial ritual and a climax. It's like, okay, sold.
And have weird, sleazy fever dreams mixed in there.
Oh, yeah. The real early 90s MTV fever dreams. Like, we're going to put those in there too. Yeah.
And Amanda Donahue then is doing, that's a memorable movie villain.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing, and I applaud her. I applaud her.
I kept looking at her mouth. Like, she has a mouth made for this part.
Thin lips, but
a lot of teeth. It was just, I don't know, something about her. It's like, I don't know, reptilian, but there's something.
Yes.
Somewhat sinister about. I'm like, that's spot on casting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it, so I liked it a lot. Holly, what do you think?
Yeah, it was funny. Last week when I said this is what we're going to watch, Colin was like, "So you've seen this?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "So you know what we're getting into?" I was like, "Do you?" I was like, "Do you know what we're getting into?"
Do you?
Because it's amazing. I love this movie. It's been in my pocket for a while. It was one of those things where, like, you know what? I need to wait until there's a time when I just feel like we need to have fun with a movie, and I felt like we needed to have fun with a movie tonight. So this is like everything that I want in a freak show movie. I always like to cut some humor into my horror movies, so this is like right up my alley. It's British, it's weird and sleazy, and it's all the things. I love this movie. I think it's so much fun. It's like Mikhail said, it's hard to like say anything because like I just had so much fun with it. We had a good time. We were all laughing. I think everything. It checks all the boxes. It's a quick movie. Like I was never bored with it. I'm entertained from start to finish. Yeah, it's just a good time. I think a lot of people are leery of it, thinking it's going to be boring. It's not boring. It's fun. I love this. I think everyone should watch it. I'm glad we watched it tonight.
Yes.
Well, that means it's Freak Show approved. All four of us.
100%.
Okay, that's Lair of the White Worm. Next week we're going to be watching a movie that's chosen by
Micah, what are we watching next week?
We're going to cross another big one off the Freak Show list. I feel like it's been talked about a lot. We're going to watch Stage Fright from 1987.
Oh boy. We're going.
Also known as Aquarius, also known as Deliria, also known as Birdhead. Yes,
like
it has like 6 alternate titles.
This is Michele Soave directing.
Yes.
Suave.
It's Italian.
Yes.
I would say I have no idea what this movie is.
Well, you keep thinking that
Fright.
Italians only made giallo movies, but they made a slasher movie.
Yes, they did. Yes. Yes.
All right, so Stage Fright coming next week too, the Saturday Night Freak Show.
Are we doing Summer of 80s? I feel like we are.
It's like the same year. Yeah.
We can do that.
Yes.
All right, well, we hope you'll join us. And until then, the basement is going dark.